What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Commodity. I'm Fez, and today we are taking a look at Honest Government Ad, Reserve Bank of Australia. So let's pull this up real quick. It was suggested in my Discord by TGirl009. Satire, but sadly pretty accurate nonetheless, yeah. Most of the time, satire is based off of some kind of truth, just to kind of punctuate it, just to get you under the skin. But link to my Discord is going to be located right up here and down in the description, along with the links to my gaming channel. I'm going to change up the schedule a little bit. I'm going to keep on putting out a video at 6. That's going to be Australian. I'm going to put out a video at 9. That's going to be Filipino based because I really love the Philippines and what they are. So if you're interested, that's going to be a thing. And then the last video at midnight my time, of course, so this is every 3 hours. It's going to be more than likely New Zealand or Australian. Right now I am probably going to more focus on New Zealand on that kind of stuff, but I am definitely going to be doing some more Filipino stuff because I really enjoy it. I'm just staying away from any religion stuff. So there's reasons why other countries I haven't really touched on, because their countries so revolve so much around religion. And I just don't want to do that. That's not fun to me. I mean, so anyways, moving on. Let's go ahead and jump into this, but don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss my next video. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And I think last time I checked, 80% of y'all were not subscribed, in that ballpark. Like 75 to 80% of viewers are not subscribed. So I need your help. So please subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into this.
Hello, I'm from the Reserve Bank of Australia. You know, the wankers who promise not to raise interest rates and then raise them 10 times in a row. Psych! Most people don't know what the RBA does, which is just as well, or this place would probably be on fire right now. But did you know our job is to ensure the economic prosperity and welfare of the Australian people? What's that? Where did we go wrong? Oh, sweetie, we didn't. You being broke AF, in debt AF, or homeless AF has ensured heaps of economic prosperity, just not yours. Like that time we pumped house prices with years of low interest rates. Sure, that put home ownership forever out of reach of all you.
I hate her saying AF. I don't know how I don't know if y'all do that like that in Australia, but we say AF, broke AF, because it's two different words, so it's more of an acronym versus just being a word, I guess. That's aside from the point. You know, it's crazy though. My dad was talking to me about it because we bought our house when we did own our house when rates were historically low, and he was like, honestly, that was an anomaly. He was like, my entire life up until those, like, basically those 10 years of time, maybe a little bit more than 10 years, is, you know, the housing market average was somewhere like around 6%, 7% the rest of the time. And you could get all the way up to like 17, 18% interest rates, which at that point I would never buy, because you're basically paying double for your house, if not more than that. And I mean by like the monthly payment, half of it's going to your house and then the other half is going towards interest. I mean, I know that's not how it works, but it's like that. But they were basically saying, you know, he's like, the 2%, the 3%, the 4%, that was an anomaly. So just be happy that was there. He's like, but typically, because he works in a bank, he's like, but historically 6-7% is pretty accurate. Odds are, even in my lifetime, we might not ever see the 2 to 3% anymore. And then housing prices have skyrocketed here too, and that really sucks. Now that's the issue. And my dad does think, and he's pretty accurate with most things, he thinks that there's going to be a trend downward on the cost of homes, because how many people truly can pay 7-8% interest on, you know, $500,000 to $1 million home, even with fantastic credit? You can only buy down so many points. I know this is getting more literal in this, but I mean, we're doing it too. I mean, this isn't just y'all, and obviously, and I hate to say it, but a lot of the things that we do affects the rest of the world. So it's just, this is happening in a lot of places, and it really sucks.
You losers, I mean young people. And sure, it saddled those who did buy a house with some of the highest debt in the world, but it made people who already own properties go, my money don't jiggle jiggle. It folds, it makes me want to wiggle wiggle. Of course, we couldn't have pumped house prices without help from other shitbags. Hello, I'm from APRA, the pricks who failed to rein in dodgy lending, even after the Banking Royal Commission explicitly warned us to. And I'm from the shit party, where we pumped the housing bubble even more by letting you raid your own super. By the way, fuck you for voting us out, you ungrateful All right. Where were we? Oh yes. After luring you into fuck tons of debt with low interest rates and promises to keep them low, we suddenly had to jack them up to bring down inflation. Whoops. Is the inflation caused by your wages going up, as we told you? No, it's mainly caused by the pandemic, the war, soaring company profits. Your wages actually went down last year, but we said, whatever, let's make you work to lower the inflation you didn't cause by raising interest rates that force you to pay more of your lower wage on paying off the huge debt we got you into. RBA announcement.
We've just raised interest rates again. Fuck you, Australia.
Except all you property investors. You can just pass it on to your tenants by jacking up their rent.
Further fueling inflation.
Reverse Bank of Australia, ensuring wealth flows back from you to the rich. Of course, there are other ways to manage rising inflation. Hello, I'm from the Australian government, where we're about to release the budget. Sure, we could help bring down inflation by reducing the cost of things like medicines, HECS, and childcare. And we could fund all that by ditching these massive tax cuts for the rich, which if passed would worsen inflation. And we could rein in the price-setting power of corporations, which also worsens inflation. Hello, I'm from Qantas, where despite record profits, we jacked up our prices. By the way, thanks for bailing us out during the pandemic, dickheads. And yes, we could protect the poorest from the pain of inflation by increasing job seeker for all. And we could pay for that by taxing the fuck out of gas companies, which made shit tons of extra profits from the war. But why do all that when we can build a stadium nobody fucking needs, lure more of you into debt with another bullshit scheme that'll pump house prices, and have a piss-weak review of the RBA that recommends shifting some deck chairs, while young people and workers get fucked over yet again by rising inequality. That's the spirit of Australia. My money don't jiggle jiggle. It folds. It makes me want to wiggle wiggle. You know. Authorised by the Subcommittee for the Deputy Assistant to the Advisory Board of the Acting Minister for the Department for doing fuck all about anything, really.
That was great. Yeah, no, but the problem is that there's a lot of truth. And it goes across the world. I mean, that's us too. We're in the same crap. Here's the thing. So, the famous saying, you want to live that American dream. Everybody knows that saying. It's all over movies. It's all over TV. It's still BS being laid out. The problem is the American dream was being able to live a life that was comfortable and you could do it well. It's just crazy because like when my grandfather was alive, he was part of the, I think they call it the generation of, it was before the boomers. My mom is a boomer. So it was the lost generation or the something like that. I forget what it's called. But the point is, back when my mom was young or even young adult, one person could go to work. That you had the wife at home, and I'm not saying that that's the way it should be. In fact, I would really prefer a woman in my life that wants to work more than anything. And that because I think I have a thing for powerful women, for women that are that know what they want and are driven and want to do things to better themselves and all that kind of stuff, and don't need to be reliant on any man. Just because I show up doesn't mean that I want them to be reliant on me. I want us to be reliant on each other. But anyways, that has nothing to do with it. I'm just trying to say that I don't believe in the stay-at-home mom being the way it should be. But back then, that's how it was. So the man could go to work, buy a house, pay for their kids, pay for their wife's needs, pay for 2 vehicles, and then come home, after an 8-hour shift and have good food on the table. Again, I'm not talking about that's the wife's job. In fact, I prefer to cook more than my ex-wife did. So I love cooking. But my point is, that doesn't exist anymore. It's impossible unless you are making literally millions of dollars or at least $500,000 a year. because if you're buying an average house that costs $500,000, okay, so let's say, I think they say you need to make double what your mortgage is. So $500,000 on average is probably somewhere around 2, 4, 6, 8, somewhere around $8,000 a month, so, give or take, in a mortgage, because we were paying about $2 on a $150,000 home about 10 years ago. And that house is now selling for around $400,000. And that's in the middle of nowhere. That is literally another 30 minutes east of where I live, which is 30 minutes east of Dallas. So you're an hour away from Dallas. No land. You're living next to somebody. You have a little bit of a backyard. You have a little bit of a front yard. But we were paying roughly $2,000. I think it was like $1,800 a month for our mortgage, let alone everything else that comes included with owning a home. Then we had 2 cars. Her car payment was around $400 something. Mine was around $600. And this is when cars were not averaging $38,000 to $40,000 for a used car. My car was brand new. Her car was brand new. But she worked as well. She's a nurse at a children's hospital. She worked 3 days a week and she made great money. I made great money selling cars. So we were doing really well, but we had a new house mortgage that was $2,000. We had 2 car payments that added up to just under another $1,000. Plus we had other bills. We had to pay electricity. We had to pay for gas. She drove almost an hour to work. I drove only like 20, 30 minutes to work, but gas isn't the cheapest thing in the world. Then if we were going to go do that now, that house is now double. So we're looking at almost $4,000 in mortgage. Not really. Probably more like $3,200, $3,300 in a mortgage. Well, with the interest rates that they are, we had 2.75 back then. If we go now, we're probably around 5%. So yeah, no, closer to $4,000. Then you're looking at, that doesn't seem right. That math is still a little off. Then you're looking at new cars right now. New cars, the national average is around $45,000. I think it's actually higher than that. So you own 2 of those. You're looking at, for every $1,000 you finance, you're looking at $20. That's too much. Then you're looking at kids. Then you're looking at all these things. And then you're looking at people aren't buying like they were. Interest rates are much higher on cars too. Like right now, the national average is probably around 7-8%. I was selling RVs for a little bit. That fell through because they were averaging around 10 to 11%. I mean, the market right now is just a real big middle finger to millennials, Gen Z, and especially the upcoming alpha generation, which is what my kids are. And I hate that we're leaving it that way. And I know I've got a lot of boomers, and I know I got a lot of Gen Xers. Gen Xers are actually one of the worst generations. I'm like right at the cusp of Gen X and millennial. I was born in 83. My sister was born in 81. We're technically both. We relate to the Gen Xers. We relate to the millennials. But really millennials are probably one of the worst situations. I think I read like 80 to 90% in the world are not ready for retirement because they haven't been putting any money back. Millennials are trying to put money back, but they have to keep on dealing with inflation so extremely. Then you have, but it truly was the boomers, and it was the generation before them that didn't prepare us for what to come was, because inflation is through the roof. Never before seen like this. So yeah, no, it is what it is. And then unfortunately it is what it is, because there's nothing that we can truly do about it. And it's so funny because people here in the U.S. just think about the U.S. and they're saying inflation here is due to the president, which is not true at all, because technically he wasn't even president during the main turmoil from the COVID-19 pandemic. But yet all these jobs lost, they relate to the pandemic. But the inflation, they're like, no, the pandemic wasn't a cause of it. But yet it was literally the whole cause of it all. So that's what I really think is funny. I'm like, okay, so you can relate to jobs being lost. And the U.S., all those jobs are back, and it's even higher. More jobs have been made, and I think they said like 6% of the U.S. is unemployed, which is an insanely low. I think it's an all-time low, especially with the amount of population we have at this point. But the numbers show that we're actually the best of the, I think they say of the developed country, we have the lowest inflation. Like a gallon of gas here is like $3.40, $3.30. It bounces around. And the other issue is they're making more money than they ever have, the gas companies. So I'm like, so you still blame the president for, and I'm talking about Biden, not Trump, for the gas prices? Yeah, I do. Well, then why are these gas companies or oil companies making more money than any other time in history? We're dealing with price gouging at this point, which technically is illegal and something should be done about it. So there's a lot of things, and this really strikes my chord. So I'm with y'all. We're with y'all. We're dealing with the same thing. The UK is dealing with the same thing. Canada is dealing with the same thing. The entire world is dealing with the same thing, and it really, really, really sucks. My rent is out straight through the roof. It went up $400 the last time I had to re-sign my lease, and that's the last time I'm signing my lease because I can go rent a house for the same price I'm renting an apartment. I just have to do lawn. And I'm a bad Mexican. I don't like doing yard work. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I made it so serious at the end, but it's a true thing. It's satire based off of truth is what this is. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And until next time,